Man, Fire Red Omega was such an awesome ROM hack. What? Apparently there's an Emerald Omega, and what a game! Greatly increased difficulty, infinite TMs, and a physical special split. But more importantly, the Omega Gang is back, baby. I'm really pumped for this Advanced Nuzlocke. This is gonna be epic. Pokemon Emerald Omega was inspired by Fire Red Omega and has a lot of similarities to it, but at the same time it also does a lot of things differently, which I will get into shortly. This game is way more challenging than Fire Red Omega, and I'll explain why in a bit. This ROM hack's difficulty is not to be taken lightly. It's not exactly Emerald Kaizo levels of absurdity. The difficulty here comes more from good AI and well designed boss battles, rather than really stupid stuff like explosion spam and Wobbuffets. Anyways, I started this game for the first time, completely blind, and go to pick my starter, and man is it awesome to see the Omega Gang as the starters again. They were so cool in Fire Red Omega, and I really preferred them over the conventional ones. At this point I was really unsure who to pick, so I decided to roll a dice, and I got Magby as my starter. Nice. These starters have the same updated movesets in the base stat buffs that they had in Fire Red Omega, well evolving at level 24 also, but with more new changes here. The physical special split is in this game now, which hurts the Magmar and Jinx line a bit. Also, a big change is that Magmortar and Electivire are both in this game and are only available late game. The power! I'm not sure if Jinx also got an extra buff on top of that to make up for that, but if it did that would change quite a lot. I would argue that Magby is the best starter, but there is no clear-cut optimal one to pick. Okay, so now I've got the Pokeballs, it's time to start the Advanced Nuzlocke run. Now, as I'm catching and grinding up my first 3 Pokemon that I caught, I'll explain this game's mechanics a bit more. Emerald Omega makes some great changes, and I'm actually really surprised that this ROM hack is so obscure in the community. Along with the new physical special split, some later generation Pokemon, items and moves have been added into the game, with a few extra balance changes. A huge improvement I loved is that TMs are now reusable in this game. Thank God for that, it's so appreciated. This really helps you out later game to come up with your own unique strategies in battle. Then there's a difficulty, and oh man is this game tough. First of all, items cannot be used in battle at all now, that is mandatory. With the exceptions of X items, but no self-respecting Nuzlocker uses those anyways. Also, set mode is now mandatory in this game. Screw this stupid shift mode. Now you've got to actually use your brain in battles. And then there's the AI. Oh man. The level scaling is actually Emerald Kaizo levels, sometimes even more, which is scary. You need to grind for this game. Luckily, if using fast forward, the encounter rate is pretty high, so this isn't nearly as tedious as it was in Kaizo. But then there's the boss battles, especially the gym leaders. They are hard. Many trainers in this game have at least some kind of EV spread in their Pokemon now, along with competitive movesets. Gym leaders seriously have big brain strategies such as weather teams or just having great coverage. You'll see for yourself soon, but I'll say that the gym leaders in Emerald Omega have some of the most well made gym leader teams I've ever seen in any Pokemon game. They are brutally hard early game, as you'll have less options to deal with them. I have my early team assembled. I'm a bit anxious as I don't have many ways of dealing with Roxanne yet. Zigzagoon is potentially abusable late game as it gets belly drum and extreme speed, which is kind of funny. And Pidgey ends up being complete garbage as it literally learns no good moves for a very long time. I get the fishing rod in Petalburg City and fish up some much needed water types. Though one issue is that you get so many water type Pokemon in this game, it really limits your team building, especially for the third gym leader. Man, it's nice to not have to deal with all this stupid stuff that Kaizo threw at you. There's a lot less mandatory battles here to deal with, which is such a relief. There's definitely some luck needed for the early game encounters. Roxanne is very hard, unless you get very specific Pokemon or you overlevel. The starters aren't even that useful against her. The first Aqua Gun is much tougher than the one in Vanilla Emerald at least, though it's not too hard. I get some more Pokemon. Poliwag is very useful. Sentret, not so much. I then get to work clearing out all the nearby trainers. I'll need to grind as only half of my team can really hurt Roxanne. Magaby does have Karate Chop, but it's also got a timid nature. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that in this game, they are fairy type Pokemon, so this Jigglypuff is pretty neat. Oh god, in Roxanne's gym I ran into my first problem. The Sandshrew used Sandstorm and started to spam Dig, which got buffed in this game. It kept dodging my attacks, which was really annoying, and I had no choice but to sacrifice 2 Pokemon to it, which is crazy. I really don't know how Sandshrew was able to outspeed my timid nature Magaby and my Nidorino. What even happened there? Double Quick Claw? If so, that's really dumb. Anyways, I've got 2 losses already, but luckily I didn't even need those 2 Pokemon very much anyway, so it's not too bad. Nice! At least I got a Togepi egg in Rustboro City, but now I've got to grind for Roxanne. I decided to get my whole team up to level 20 just to be safe, as I've got no idea what level to expect from her. Also, I do not have the best matchup against Roxanne. I've got 2 water types, but the rest of my team is not very good. I challenged her and the battle was interesting. Her lead Pokemon Onix had Sandstream, which is really spicy. Weirdly enough, her team is way lower level than I expected. This made the battle way easier than I thought it would be. Her fossils were unusually lower level, but my 2 water types managed to handle her team. The fact that Poliwrath has Rain Dance really came in handy as weather abilities are permanent here. However, I challenged this Aqua Grunt and all of a sudden, he is noticeably higher level. Well, I guess against this Carvanha here I'll just have to switch in my Nidorino in... Wait, what? Oh my god, it got one-shotted. I know Thief's physical now, and it got a crit, but damn. It should be noted that Aqua Grunts do have some EVs in their Pokemon, but it's only in the very end game where some bosses will have max EV values. To make this worse, I got pounded by this Raticate and I had no choice but to sacrifice my Corphish. That was a surprisingly rough battle. At least Raticate didn't get a critical hit on me. God, I just started this game and I've already got 4 losses. And my remaining Pokemon are not good. This is bad. Now I got really anxious and did a good amount of grinding, expecting May to be very tough as the Aqua Grunt was already starting to escalate in level. Surprisingly, May was a lot easier than I thought. At least I don't have to deal with 6 Pokemon this time. Her starter Elekid doesn't have Thunder Punch, so it's not a big threat. That's a big advantage of picking Magaby in this game, is that Elekid is not that big of a threat to deal with, and it loses out to the physical special split. Anyone who's played Fire Red Omega knows just how much of a monster Jinx is. Now I'm at Dewford Town, I scout out this gym, and boy, the trainers here are tough. They also have some EV training on their Pokemon. This matchup here set up and managed to land a focus punch on Magaby, and Jesus, this was too close for comfort. I should have expected this, to be honest, it was kind of my fault for not playing around it. But to play it safe, I evolved Magaby, so now it's a beast. The one problem is that Fire Punch on Magmar is physical, which is unfortunate as Magmar is more of a special attacker, especially with a timid nature. This Geodude I caught is nice, but not what I'm needing for Brawly. Anyways, I do fish up a Magikarp, and this is obviously a powerhouse, especially with the physical special split, but it won't be usable anytime soon. This gym especially is a big threat compared to the others I found. The AI here has very good strategies, the matchups hit hard, and I even saw a Tyrogue with Endure, a Lychee Berry, and Mag Punch, which is a really big brain strat. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention here that the AI in this game does not use healing items during battle, so that's a good thing. It makes Advanced Nuzlocke Rules more fair, as I can't use items but the AI can't use them either, so that's pretty cool. Now I'm ready for Brawly. I tried to estimate his level and attempted to prepare accordingly. I am wary of his team, but Togetic is pretty strong, right? Despite this, Brawly was not easy. His team is hard, and having type advantage on its own is not enough to beat him. Meditite already can outspeed and use Thunder Punch on Togetic, which is a bad start. Hitmontop was a huge threat, as it uses Bulk Up, but I've got no switch in. It takes a hit, outspeeds and KOs my Togetic with Thunder Punch, which is not good at all. This is getting really dicey. It's really annoying that my Togetic had a jolly nature, because that actually prevented me from one-shotting it. Things did get better, but Poliwhirl using Hypnosis on Magmar was not good. It also had a Salac Berry forcing a switch out. This Combusken tried to set up, But this Magahita, that was a real threat. It's got bulk up, leftovers, and really strong moves like Revenge. This thing becomes a massive threat, and it destroys Poliwhirl. Actually, a big brain play I realised afterwards is to use Thief to steal its leftovers, which I'll definitely keep in mind for next time. But with that, Brawly's down, with 2 casualties in my team. Even at my level, this game is not lacking in the difficulty department. Now my team's in bad shape as I lost 2 of my best Pokemon, and I really don't have any good Pokemon left on my PC. I do have lots of water types, but they are not going to be helping me against Watson. I need more Pokemon for the squad. At least afterwards I caught this Electrike. It had an adamant nature, which I know sounds really bad, but unironically this ends up being very helpful, which is pretty crazy. God, I keep fishing up water types, which is not what I need right now. Kingdra is very useful, but I can only get that late game. The trainers on Slateport Beach were not easy. They're already starting to escalate in level again. It can really catch you off guard. I had 1 or 2 near misses, but luckily I managed to get through without any losses. Now here I challenged the Acroguns, which I was really anxious about, but luckily it wasn't even that hard. Magmar just sweeps everything here. In the Trick House, you can see random trainers and they're pretty high leveled. Now I'm actually worried about the May rematch, but I did some preparation just to be safe. I'm expecting her to lead off with Beautifly like she did last time, and I got Graveler to handle Electabuzz. If Ice Punch was a special move, then I would be in a lot more trouble. So I go to challenge May, and this battle was anticlimactic. Just like the last time. Well, that's relief. But now I really have to prepare for Watson's gym, which I am dreading. I don't have a lot of good Pokemon for this, and while I do have Graveler, Watson undoubtedly has water coverage for it, probably Lantern. I need more Pokemon. Thankfully I get Drowsy, which is decent, and this Bonsly, which isn't that useful. Wally's team is not bad. His Ace Kirlia almost caused problems as it spammed double team and I missed it twice. Thank God Pidgeotto was able to stop it. I cleared out the gym, but something happened. This Furret, of all things, had Surf, and it one-shotted my Graveler. Oh my. I needed that Graveler. I'm a bit surprised, even though Surf is 4 times super effective, Furret is weak as hell, but this is really bad, as now my team is even less well equipped to deal with Watson. I need to overlevel for this. I didn't really want to, but I just don't have a choice, as my chances of winning at his level is extremely low. I don't even know what to expect on his team. So I started grinding like crazy. The easiest way to do this was to spam the daycare center. I will say that attempting this game with the extreme Nuzlocke rules sounds extremely hard. This game is definitely harder than Fire Red Omega, but maybe I'll try that challenge in the future. Anyways, my team is as ready as it can be. I had no choice but to overlevel for this, and oh boy, this battle is no joke. I'll show you what happened, but this was tense. It turns out I'm a bit more overleveled than I expected. Well, this is actually going quite well. But are you kidding me? Unironically using a physical attacking Manectric? What next? Physical Alakazam? Holy cow! This battle was so tense. I did have some bad power hacks, but I'm just glad that I only lost Pidgeotto, who I didn't even need anyways. Level 34 and its strongest move is still Quick Attack? Get out of here! But phew, that was tough. But there's so much more I need to do before I'm done with this game. Time to continue the adventure. Okay, so I've beaten Gym Leader Norman and I'm now at the Weather Institute. I'll just check on my recorded footage and... What? What? This isn't right. Oh god. I think the recording's corrupted. Last night my PC froze, so instead of just using the task manager to unfreeze it and switching off normally, I just powered off my PC from the button, and that must have corrupted the recording that I just did. I am not happy about this. But it's not the end of the world. I guess I could just skip over that part of the video, the next two gyms, due to technical difficulties, and just continue the video after that and show what happened in the rest of the run. Yeah, I could do that. It's a bit annoying, but the viewers will understand. Okay, let's carry on with the Nuzlocke. So now I'm going to clear out the Weather Institute and start recording from here and... Hey, what? Oh no! Come on, just load this file. Oh my god! Well, I guess the Nuzlocke's over now. Turns out my game's save file has also been corrupted and is now unsalvageable. It's a damn interesting way to end a challenge run, I guess. I'm pretty sure this was caused because I switched off my PC when I shouldn't have. I guess I misplayed there. This caused my most recent saves to corrupt when I could have just manually unfroze my PC and shut it down the proper way, but this has never happened to me before. This is frustrating. I'm just checking and all my other save files are untouched, so this was actually completely avoidable. Ugh. Screw it, this run is over. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing the game blind, and will definitely revisit it for a proper Nuzlocke run. Seeing the Magby Smoochum Elekid line was so nice, and the changes like the physical special split and infinite TMs were so good. I definitely recommend this game if you want a proper challenge that isn't complete garbage. The gym leaders were some of the most tense Pokemon battles I've ever had, and I've only done 5 of them. I'm looking forward to retrying this game and seeing what else the game has to offer. I know this abrupt end to the video is disappointing, but it is what it is. I'll definitely make sure I don't stupidly do this again. Anyways, I hope to see you all next time. This is Ding Dong, signing out.